Welcome to Open Mic on Giant TV. My name is Mike Balsom. Today, a very special guest. The school year has just begun, and it's an important one for our guest today. The president of Niagara College, Dan Patterson, will be retiring at the end of June 2020. Dan, how does it feel knowing that this is your last school year?
Well, I'm being very reflective, but also very excited as we start a very exciting year with record enrollments, a range of some great programs. I will look back, I'm sure, in this year with great memories. I've realized now almost 25 years of leading Niagara College. It was a good time to step down. So I've given myself a fairly long runway. It's not till June of next year that I do step down. So there are a lot of things that I want to do and want to accomplish. And I always find the startup of school in a very exciting time. And it's no different, except this will be the last one as being at the helm of Niagara College.
If I look at your 25 years at the helm of the college, two words come to mind: growth and progress. Can we talk about some of that growth and where the college was 25 years ago?
Okay. Well, I think we never thought in our wildest dreams that we would be moving from very humble beginnings and very almost temporary quarters in the Welland campus to now tripled our enrollment since I've been president to over 13,000 students, a large international component, and that journey has been quite remarkable. I think we've moved from what was a college that wasn't quite sure of its identity to a leader not just in Ontario but across the country. We score on a lot of metrics very high, and so we are seen as one of the most progressive and entrepreneurial colleges in the country. They refer to us as a preemptive college, anticipating labor markets not just of today but of tomorrow. So you see a range of really exciting new programs that people can now subscribe and be part of, and they're always linked to employment opportunities.
Some of the things that have come about over your 25 years, not just at Niagara College, but at the college system in general, a lot more degree programs, a lot of postgraduate programs too. So you're seeing some university and college graduates come back to the college for some certificate programs.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think one of the most exciting things that have occurred in post-secondary education is the advent of colleges being mainstream, not just a second choice, but in many cases a first choice, and in many cases university students coming to the college because they see the model of education that we have, the hands-on, the link to theory and link to the world of work, are very attractive to young people as they pursue careers and opportunities. And so I think that's a very exciting part of, and the secret to our success has been the link to employers, the regional needs, the economy, and people, more and more people are choosing the college. The also thing I'd like to say that we're considered among the most beautiful learning environments in the country. If you go to our Welland campus and you see our allied health and our range of programs, or our engineering programs in the Rankin Center of Technology, or our advanced manufacturing where we're working with companies, they're just extraordinary. Then you go to our Niagara-on-the-Lake campus and you see a 38-acre vineyard, 2-acre hop yard, Canada's first teaching winery, brewery and distillery, commercial cannabis program. So we're really on the move. A lot of entrepreneurial activities, a lot of excitement. People at Niagara College refer to the NC, the Niagara College DNA, that the culture is focused around students. A great deal of excitement about how the student decides to go to Niagara College. How can we ensure they have the best possible education and a job opportunity? So it's advanced skills for employment is sort of our mantra.
It's interesting that you bring up the wine, the beer, the cannabis, because these jobs are right here in Niagara.
Yes, that's again something that's noted across the country as Niagara College being a leader. If you look at all the key sectors of our economy, you will see programs and services at the college that will match that. In other words, people can stay and study and get meaningful employment, and Niagara College is part of that equation for a successful, good life.
You mentioned international students. How important is it that Niagara College draws students from across the world?
Well, it's a bit, we have positioned ourselves as a Niagara College with a global reach, and often referred to as a global college. We have 85 plus, I think maybe 90 at this point, countries represented at the college. In other words, part of our 4,500 international students that study at Niagara College, we have 90 countries represented. So Niagara College students are studying along from people from India, Saudi Arabia, Vietnam, Bolivia, literally around the world. And I think that's very enriching. I think one of our challenges going forward is what is the balance between the number of international students that you attract to the college and domestic students, because domestic students are Niagara students. Our demographics are flatlined. In other words, less students coming from high schools, graduating from high schools to the college. So we need to reach out to a stronger segment of our Niagara population to encourage them that future prosperity and future job satisfaction lies with embracing not only continuous learning, but going to college and acquiring skills and knowledge. And there's such a range of options, from construction renovations and skills and engineering right through to early childhood education. So I really encourage your listeners to go on the web, see what our program offerings are, but come and visit us. Seeing is believing. It's a very exciting time to be in college campuses, not just at Niagara College, but across the country. They really are the go-to places for the future.
I visited the college last week, and one of the things that struck me was how busy and how many people were working in your international students' office. And to me, I think that's a great step in making that transition for these people as they come to Canada to study.
Well, yes, thank you, Mike. I think we've invested over the years, way back about 25 years ago, the word, we saw the value of international, and the word Niagara is got such an asset in and of itself. And people from around the world, if you're in Vietnam or Bolivia or Chile, people know the word Niagara, and then you start marketing that Niagara is also a great place to study. We have outstanding facilities, outstanding equipment, unbelievable faculty, and you combine that and you reach out, and then you create the infrastructure of housing, counseling, and welcoming, meeting people at the airport, bringing them to Niagara, creating economic development opportunities for Niagara. It's a win-win situation.
You've also reached out to the community. You did sort of mention that, but I mean, back in the early days of the college, I think the community knew that they could go in and get some dental work from the dental students. They could access certain things, but it's become bigger, and you're now acting as an incubator for business.
That's correct. I mean, the one area that a lot of people are looking at Niagara College and studying is our what we call learning enterprises. These are part of the curriculum. So if you're in viticulture and wine program, not only do you learn about the terroir, how to make grapes, pruning, the whole aspects of winemaking, you also go to our winery and you're part of the selling, so sales and marketing. So we're trying to create these multi-skilled areas for people, and that has been part of the persona. And we've then developed learning enterprises in our greenhouse operation. So we have a retail store, our spa, our restaurant, our winery, brewery, and distillery, and things like our dental program, where we run an incredible amount of opportunities for young people, especially in grade school, who have not had opportunity for preventative dentistry, to come in and utilize our dental program. So the psyche or the mindset for our teachers and our students is looking out to the community, giving back to the community, that sense of social responsibility. So in our construction area, we have a Habitat for Humanity. We've built over 10 homes over the course of the last 12, 13 years, and it engages people. Our special events program, events management, where we go to social agencies and Shaver and different groups and rebuild the agency from scratch, dealing with our construction engineering program, renovators, raise money through our events management. So it's a very robust culture that we have at Niagara College.
That also brings these students into contact with people working in the field.
Absolutely. And again, that's the secret sauce, I think, of graduating from the college, getting young people to experience the world of work through co-op, internship, feeling comfortable with equipment that they're using in the classroom, whether it be dental or it be engineering. So putting them in contact with the community and creating a comfort level, even in our culinary programs where the students have an opportunity to speak about the food that they've prepared, being able to articulate that in front of a group and getting the confidence and the skills is what we talk about in terms of multi-skilling and giving people a well-rounded education. Employers are giving us a lot of feedback that, especially the new digital learner, that they need to do more in working with teams. And so we're building into some of our curriculum more teamwork and more project work, so people can ask and talk about their role and responsibility in a team setting as opposed to just their individual work.
Recently, a couple of announcements. One, right next to the Glendale campus, you purchased a business block, which Niagara College had been renting space at for a number of years. What are the plans for that building?
Okay, well, we want to, first of all, we're very excited to acquire 33 acres of land in the Niagara-on-the-Lake campus, which will complete the whole area into making it a truly remarkable rural-urban mix.
That campus was begun, what, about 21
years ago? That's correct, yes.
And it's never stopped growing.
No.
Right now, there's lots of construction happening on that campus.
No, that's right. It's a very, a lot of colleges have multiple locations. Like Georgian College, for example, has 12, 14 different satellite campuses. We've consolidated into 2, which I think really makes sense for Niagara. We have some really neat, exciting things happening in Welland and really neat, exciting things happening in Niagara-on-the-Lake. The Niagara-on-the-Lake is wrapped around the UN-designated World Biosphere, the escarpment. And every season changes with the beauty of the escarpment, and we've integrated the escarpment with a wetland ridge trail, a 2-acre hop yard for our brewery, a 38-acre vineyard, as I mentioned, for our wine program, and then you combine a wine visitor education center that thousands of people come to, especially in the summertime, to get a launch into wine country because we encourage them to visit all our wineries in Ontario.
Is this typically visited by tourists? When tourists come down to experience Niagara wine country, do they stop at Niagara College?
That's correct. Part of the contribution that industry and government and the college made was to set up a wine visitor center that would encourage people to travel, whether they want to go to the bench or whether Niagara-on-the-Lake wineries or the Beamsville bench. So part of the job that we have there is to encourage people to go outward to our wine country. And again, the synergy we have between the wine industry and the college, I think, is a great example of industry educational partnerships. And all great regions of the world that are doing well are the ones that see education and industry as integrated. I think we need to do more of that in Niagara. We need to embrace a training culture, and we're now a region of small and medium-sized enterprises, and it's a very competitive environment out there. How do we ensure success? How do companies develop new products, make sure they're efficient against a real multinational competitive environment? And education is a key component. So more and more, we're trying to reach out to that employer community through the Greater Niagara Chamber of Commerce, through Rotary, through various groups to bring people into Niagara College to say, this is your college. Our desire is to make sure that as an industry, you feel that you can call on the college when needed, because continuous improvement, continuous investment education is critical.
Back to that new property that you bought, what will happen
Yes.
to that building?
Okay, well, the building, the Niagara Business Center, will continue to be leased out. We actually have leases. We have now people in there. Our international department, our development group are in there. So for the time being, we see as continuing that space with the current tenants that we have. The land around it, we're going through what we call a master planning process. We're now that we've had 21 years and on the campus, it's been a huge success. Geographically on the QEW, there's a Glendale district plan going on that's looking at how do we properly develop that. It's a gateway to Niagara-on-the-Lake. We're at the corners of St. Catharines, Thorough, and Niagara-on-the-Lake. How do we make sure in the next 5, 10, 20, 25 years we get it right? What type of development, what kind of industry do we attract? And so we're trying to sort that out in the next few years.
And you're working with those municipalities?
We're working clear, especially, yes, with all the municipalities, the region, through their Economic Development and Regional Planning Office, and we're going to say, how do we make sure we get this right? You know, we have to be very careful in Niagara in development. We want to make sure that as we refer to the QEW and go along and see some of the towers that are right on top of the QEW, we want to make sure our growth is managed and it's proper and it's the right kind of
it still has to represent Niagara.
And still represent Niagara, exactly. So that's an exciting part of the move forward. I won't be there for a lot of it perhaps, but I hope I've set in motion. Really, we've got a top-notch master planning group that have great deal of expertise about analyzing the data. There's going to be a new interpass on the QEW. Ministry of Transportation is looking at an interpass there. We have 5.9 million people visit the Outlet Mall each year. There's a lot of activity, a lot of people going down to Niagara-on-the-Lake, and we want to make sure Niagara College is integrated into a win-win situation, that we do as best as we can with the data, the information that we have, to create a really special place that is a showcase not just for Niagara, not just for Ontario, but we believe a national presence. And I think so often we don't get the word out locally about the impact the college is playing nationally, and I'm really glad to see this next opportunity coming forward to the college through the acquisition of this 33 acres in the Niagara Business Center building.
Another big announcement, $14 million announcement, Tsunami. Can you explain what that is all about?
Okay, Mike, this is very exciting, and I hope I can convey this to your listeners. Tsunami is a Southern Ontario network for advanced manufacturing. What does that mean? So take the Golden Horseshoe Plus, and look at Canada, and then zero down in the Golden Horseshoe. And if you look at all the manufacturing, and manufacturing was the cornerstone of growth and wealth creation in Niagara, with the changes in the traditional manufacturing going out, we still have a range of amazing small and medium-sized advanced manufacturers. And they're in a competitive environment, as I said. And we're working with them through applied research to provide what we call research and development arm. So if you're a company so busy trying to get your product out, you don't spend enough time on R&D, research and development. So our job is to bring expertise in to assist the group. And so we've called on McMaster University, which is a leader in engineering and manufacturing, Mohawk College, Sheridan College, Conestoga. We've really extended the loop, and so we are the one-stop shop into dealing with companies who come to us with a challenge. If the Niagara College equipment and expertise cannot complete the problem solving, then we turn to McMaster or Sheridan Mohawk.
Right.
And that synergy that's created with those educational institutions allows more of an impact, and we support one another. One of the challenges in education is how do we differentiate? Everyone shouldn't be in lean manufacturing or value added or the next generation of 3D printing. How can we complement each other? So we're doing an inventory of complementarity, And so we also demystify some of the paperwork that's associated with a company deciding to work with government and to get some tax incentives to support their work. So it's a value add to industry, and it goes not beyond Niagara College, but we've been asked it's been FedDev, the Federal Development Agency who supports economic development. They've turned to us and have given us $14 million to work with those colleges. That's a huge statement about our capabilities and also about our partnership. So it's not just about Niagara College. We're looking beyond the Niagara College borders to other educational partners, and I think that we need more of that in Canada.
So how does this work? For instance, I have a friend who has a small company in Welland that makes boilers. So this person is actively trying to sell his boilers across the world, basically. So how could someone like that access?
Okay, Mike, that's a great way to kind of get your listeners to translate some of what I've just been saying. So a company like your friend's who's got a boiler company and he wants to expand, he would come to our applied research office and he would sit down with one of our researchers and they would talk about, and they have a whole process to analyze the company's plans and issues, and then they would do an assessment, the degree into which certain services they could provide that individual, and normally develop a project. And that project often would involve students, in this case in the mechanical engineering or manufacturing area, sitting down with the professor who would have expertise in this area,
right,
and work out a plan with the company and work on it. If we did not have that expertise here, we would get to Mohawk or McMaster University, but we would do all the connecting for them, so it would take the running around and the hassle that frustrates employers. We would try to keep that to a minimum. And so then you create this opportunity where our faculty stay current. They go in, they evaluate the problem. Students get great experience. So when they graduate from Niagara College, they'll have worked in a real world problem solving case, and the company will benefit from the service that they've provided. And often it's a minimal, we do ask that the employers put skin in the game. It's a consultancy and as
right,
such, but it's a win-win, and we have some great testimonials and great industry advisors that help ensure that's a successful program.
Dan, let's talk a little bit more about you for the last few minutes of the program. 25 years, it's a long time to be at the helm of a college. I would imagine that that's not something that's very common. What made you stay this long?
Well, yes, it's not that common. I think
the way I look at it is a lot of people that come in as a president of anything, whether it's a college, a university,
yes,
a corporation, it's usually one step.
That's correct. Well, we have 24 colleges in the province, and about 2 or 3 are in the kind of 20 plus category. But you're right. Overall, most people are there for 10 years plus, and then they leave. It just, for me, it was the right time, the right place. I was very blessed to create an amazing team around me that built a culture that was struggling, a culture that wasn't quite sure of its identity. I live and breathe the college. My wife, Sandra, is intricately involved in the college. I think I'm always kept young at heart. I'm always get my lens from what will young people need in the future. It was a journey of incredible magnitude. I don't think anybody, including myself, in my wildest dreams, thought we could make the kind of progress and create the entrepreneurial culture. And that's what made me stay at Niagara College, the job satisfaction. Also, getting involved in the community. I get involved with a lot of activities, whether it's the Economic Development Commission at the region or Greater Niagara Chamber of Commerce or range. I believe that a strong community needs a strong post-secondary environment and have a strong college and university, and that I have a responsibility to step up and be part of that, encourage our staff to be involved in the community. So it's to be part of rebuilding Welland campus and making it a jewel in the crown, and to then start a campus from scratch and build it to the degree of leverage, and where we have internationally recognized we're the first post-secondary education program in the country to have a commercial cannabis production program, and to run a suite of cannabis courses, and to see the opportunities that are available to young people in that sector and the whole agri sector is always just kept me going. And all of a sudden 25 years has gone by, and I think it's all come together when at this point the college is in great shape. It's ready to take on a new leader, and so I think it's one of those great things in life where it's a win-win situation, and I look back with great pride, absolutely no regrets. It's the best job in the world, and I know I look forward to welcoming the new president, and all is good. All is good.
I have to say, I had a chance to tour the Glendale campus with you not too long ago.
Yes.
And I mean, I've known over the years that there's no bigger cheerleader for Niagara College than Dr. Dan Patterson. But what amazed me as we were walking through the campus was how many people, just the look on their faces changed when they saw you. The smiles, the beaming smiles. Everybody seemed to know you, whether it was a student, whether it was someone who was a staff member behind the scenes or a professor. Everybody seemed to know you.
Well, I walk the halls, I get engaged. After 25 years, you get to know a lot of people. But one of the things that really hits people, even when I'm not around and people come back and give me feedback, the sense of pride of place by employees at Niagara College is extraordinary. We're trailblazers. We do really exciting pioneering work and programming. We're very welcoming, invitational, particular to our students, because the core of what we do is student success. Everything we do is around how do we put students first in a way that will set them on a career for life. And that's pretty exciting and passionate. There's a great deal of passion, and I guess it starts at the helm. I'm very passionate about the role that we can play in post-secondary education, and it's been a pretty exciting journey to be part of.
Now, you say that you look forward to welcoming the new president. What are your plans after June 2020?
Okay, well, I intend to stay very active in post-secondary education. There are two or three things I think that are at play. Number one, I'm on a board nationally called the Colleges and Institutes Canada Board, and that's a board that is advocating for greater funding and greater opportunities for colleges. I think it's our day now in terms of post-secondary education. Colleges are very exciting places. We need to bring more balance in the amount of money that we get in applied research. We need to open the door to supporting work-integrated learning. So there's a number of issues, mental health issues across the college system as a real challenge. We've never had the kind of infrastructure that's necessary to deal with that. So I want to do some national advocacy at the national level, and that's exciting. Also, I'd like to do some mentoring of college leaders. We are getting a whole new group of young people coming in and leading colleges, and to be able to reflect on my lessons in leadership and to impart those, and also do some mentoring for students. I think that's an important part. I've tried to do some, but it's really hard given the nature of my work. And then the other issue is around international development. I'm very excited about, in Canada, we don't export education as much as the English do, or the Irish do, or the Australians do. We have a great educational system in colleges and universities, and I think we have opportunities in Vietnam and Asia and Latin America to do more. And so I think I'll be getting involved in some international work.
Any plans to sit down, write a book?
Well, I have thought about reflecting on Niagara College as a case study, because it is a really good example of not just one individual making a difference, but a college and a culture transforming and really having a huge impact on students, employers and the community. And it may be fun to reflect on the trials and tribulations, joys and frustrations of that journey. So I may do that work. The other, probably the most important thing is the top of my list, is spend more time with my wife, Sandra. I'm working weekends. She's part of it. There's a lot of activities of being a president of a community college, and having more time with Sandra and doing some traveling is another thing that I'm really looking forward to.
Well, Dan, congratulations on the announcement of your retirement. I know it's not happening for another 10 months or so. Enjoy your last school year. Dan Patterson retiring as president of Niagara College in June 2020. It's been a pleasure to have you here.
Well, thank you, Giant FM and Mike. Thank you.